Hi everyone, it's Sarah from Sarah Homfray Embroidery. Today I am going to show you 5 simple stitches that you can use to embroider outlines on your embroidery designs. So if you fancy having a go at these fishes, I do have a free PDF for you to download free from the free stuff page of our website. Just go to the link in the description below this video and you can download it there and you can have a go at these designs yourself. So I have already stitched these fish with a little pattern in the middle. I've done 5 different stitches for fish scale. So if you're interested in those stitches, I'll put a link up to that video at the end of this one. But this one is just about outlines. So if you've got a design that you're not filling in completely and you want a nice stitch to go around the edge, these are really good ones to start with, some really simple ones just to get you going. So I've actually already stitched the outline around here so you can see what it is we're going to do, and then I'm going to do it around this stitch in the middle. So this scale stitch that I did needs an outline around it, so I'm going to do this same stitch around here. I'm going to start with a back stitch. It's super simple to do, but it is a really great one and it's very versatile. So I'm going to show you a couple of other things you can do with it in a minute, but I'm just going to show you this one. If you're new to embroidery, start with back stitch. It's a really lovely one to do. So I've just put a knot on the top and doing a little stitch up and down, stab stitch, up and down, stab stitch. That just secures the end of my thread, and then I can start stitching. So I'm just going to do a little straight stitch. Doesn't matter which way around I go, so if you're left-handed or right-handed you can do either way, it's absolutely fine. And I want these stitches to be as even as possible. I'm going to do it actually on the design line as well. It's not a really wide stitch this. I'm just using 3 strands of a stranded cotton for this. If you'd find it's not covering your line because this is a narrow stitch, you can use more strands. You can use up to 6 if you want, or a different kind of thread. Any kind of thread will work for this. Do try and make sure that you cover your lines and you make these stitches a nice even length all the way through. You want to turn a corner, I'm going to come up right on that corner there. So if my stitch finishes there, come up ahead of myself here and go back into the corner. That gives me a nice sharp corner. So just make sure your 2 stitches butt up together. You can't turn a back stitch around a corner. So 1 stitch to the corner, the next stitch meets it, and then you can just carry on around the shape. So when you get to near the end, you can see my 2 little starting stitches that I did to get my back stitch going. So I'm just going to go straight over those. Ignore those, they're on that design line. So I can just do my stitch straight over it. So I come up ahead of myself, go back towards the previous stitch, down into the end of it. That's what makes it a back stitch. They all join up to each other. Just going to go straight over the top of those, and that will cover them up and just add a little bit of extra security to that starting and finishing stitch. And then just to finish that nice sharp corner off, right up in the corner there, down into that previous one. And that finishes off my back stitch all the way around. So a super simple stitch, great one to start with, and we can do lots with it. So let's have a look at something else that we can do with that stitch. So my next stitch is called a whipped back stitch. So we've done our back stitch as I just showed you with the green fish. So I've gone around here in the orange, so exactly the same way. I've got my back stitch all the way around, but we're going to do another thread around it now. So a great way just to make it a little bit, stand a little bit more proud from your work. If you want to fill that stitch out a little bit and cover a line, you can do this one. So I've got the same number of threads in, so it's still got 3 strands in here. And I've actually put it in a tapestry needle with a blunt end because I'm not going to go through to the back of the fabric now. I'm just going to go around all of my stitches. So I'm going to go underneath each back stitch, and I'm going to go from the same way each time. We're whipping the thread around, so I'm going to go back to the right hand side, go under that. I've got to avoid those stitches in the middle, but I can just push it up with my finger, and because we're using a tapestry needle, it's not going to get caught. So this is just putting another thread around that thread. If you're left-handed, you might want to go the other way around, from left to right, not right to left. Do whichever's most comfortable. Don't pull it really tight, and it just makes a sort of more of a solid line, less of this dotted line that the back stitch gives you, more of a solid raised line. So this is a good one to do if you want that effect, if you want it to just look like a seamless stitch. And then when I get to the corner, what I'm actually going to do, if I go under that one now, I get a little stitch across the corner, so I will actually take it through to the back, and then I can come up underneath this one here and carry on. So just think about the points and how you're going to make them look like points. If you need to go through to the back and start again, then do that. So over to the outside, underneath. I'm going underneath those back stitches the same way every time, all the way around the shape. So back to where I started, so just underneath that last one there, making sure I avoid my stitch in the middle, around there, and to finish it off, just back through the point and weave it under some of the stitches on the back and cut it off so it's nice and neat and smooth on the front and the back. So that is a whipped back stitch. So we're going to do another back stitch variation. Now I'm going to do a woven back stitch. Now this one is great. You can see this around here for really beautiful decorative edgings to your embroidery motifs, and also great if you haven't quite covered a design line up and you need to cover it up. You can go around with this because you can do this with other stitches as well. You can do it with the next two that I'm going to show you, and with a running stitch as well. So if you just need to cover something up, this is the one to do. So I'm going to start the same way as I did for the previous whipped one. So I'm going to go from one side to the other, but now instead of coming back and going in from the same side as I did before each time, I'm going to come under this side now, come back towards me. So I'm alternating. So now I'm going under that way. Again, I've got a tapestry needle because I'm going through underneath the stitches, not through to the back of the fabric. Don't pull these too tight or that beautiful wavy effect will disappear. So from one side to the other, stay on that side and come back again towards myself, away from myself. So it's very similar to the whip one, but not going round and round. We're going in from one side and then in from the other. So it makes this beautiful decorative edge. So really lovely one to do. Want a bit of decoration or you want to cover a line up, this is the one to do. It's back where I started. And again, just finish off by taking it through to the back in the corner, weaving under some stitches underneath. So very beautiful woven back stitch. So stitch number 4 is a split stitch. Now this is often a little bit of a forgotten stitch because you use it in silk shading, but you use it underneath the silk shading, so you actually stitch over it and you don't see it. But it's also a very old stitch used in medieval embroidery, and they would do beautiful shaded faces with it. So I think it's nice to bring this one out and just show you that you can use it on its own, and it's not just a kind of one that gets used and forgotten about underneath another stitch. So I'm going to just do it as an outline on its own right. So I'm just going to take a little forward stitch, just like I did with a back stitch. But what I'm going to do now is actually split the stitch, coming up in the middle of the stitch, right through the middle of those fibres, splitting the stitch, which is why it's called split stitch. So again, another forward stitch. We're always going forward with this, unlike the back stitch, coming up through the middle of that. So I've got a sharp needle now, embroidery needle now, so I can be accurate and come through the middle of that. So quite small stitches, come up through the middle. Now if you're finding it hard to do that from underneath, to get the needle in the right place, you can come up ahead of yourself and do a sort of a split back stitch. So I can see, because I'm on the top now, so I can actually see to put my needle down through the stitch. If you are finding it difficult to do it from underneath, you can do it from the top. You'll get a thicker stitch on the back, but that's absolutely fine. Just cut our knot off, get that out of the way, the little starting knot. So if you want to do that, you can come up ahead of yourself and go back down into that stitch so you can see clearly what you're splitting. Or if you're a little bit more experienced and you want to go the other way, you can come up from underneath and go forward. So either way is absolutely fine. It will look slightly different, but that's okay. It's just feeling where that is and feeling where your needle is, and that just comes with practice. So if you're struggling with that, don't worry, it will come. I'm just going to go all the way around the edge, splitting my stitch. This back stitch is a very fine stitch and it'll give you really lovely delicate edging, but if you find it's a little bit too fine, this split stitch is a great one to do. It's just a little bit wider, it fills out a little bit more than the back stitch. So this is a good one to do if you just want a bit of a larger, bit of a wider stitch. It gives quite a nice texture. So I'm going to go right up to that point again, splitting it each time and just take it right up to that point and again finish it on the back. So one that's not used very often for this, but definitely worth knowing about. So the last of our 5 simple stitches for outlines is a stem stitch. And I wanted to show you this one because this has got a great history behind it as well. This is used throughout the Bayeux tapestry. If you've seen that and you know about that, they use this stitch a lot. So I wanted to include this one, and it's like makes a really nice kind of a rope effect. So again, it makes a nice delicate line around it, but we're going to actually overlap the stitches this time. So there's my first stitch. Notice I'm not pulling it all the way through. Now there is a difference between a stem stitch and an outline stitch. One goes with the loop one way and one the other, but don't worry about that at this stage. Just keep the loop on this instance to the outside. We do have a video about that if you want to know what the difference is and get technical about it. Don't worry about it at this point though. So I'm just going to keep that loop to the outside of this center piece here. I'm going to pull it through to the back. I've come up underneath with my needle. So you can see my needle's coming out from the middle of that stitch, and then I just take a forward stitch. My loop goes to the outside. I come up inside that loop in the middle, which is actually the end, as near as you can get to that previous stitch. So each stitch is just going to overlap the previous stitch. So there's my loop up in the middle of those 2 points of my loop, which is the end of that previous stitch. Pull it through. Keep your stitches nice and short for this to get a really nice rope effect. It is better if you can pull that loop through first and then pull that. It's better to do it in 2 movements so it doesn't wear your thread so much, but it's easy to forget and just do it in 1. So just remember to keep that loop always to the outside for your stem stitch in this instance. And your stitch will look the same all the way around. So nice overlapping stitches. I'm just going to go all the way around the shape. Now stem stitch won't go around a corner, so when you get to a sharp corner, take your thread through to the back to finish it off. Come up ahead of yourself. Kind of doing a little back stitch now to start that one, back down into the point. That makes your nice sharp point. Then again you can put your loop to the outside and you can carry on as before. So if you have got that sharp point, just keep an eye out for that. See if you can make that nice and sharp, not rounded. So just finish it off in the point. So last couple of stitches back to that starting point, because they overlap. Make sure you don't dash for the finishing line and you put enough stitches in. So last one down to that point to finish on the back, and that one is a stem stitch. So this is what the finished fish look like with their outlines. I've done the same outline on the outside as I have around the middle, so you can see what they look like when they're completed. So I hope you find those useful for your projects. If you want to have a go at the other stitches in these fish, you can check out this video up here, and I run through each one of those and how to put the eyes on the fish as well. So do go and check that one out. Give this video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.